All right. Who wants to watch my parents talk about their very creepy relationship story? People in the comments of this video do not like my mom. So let's watch this. All the comments of this video are like, Karen interrupted him. It's so hard to watch. Ugh. I hate it when the folks allow each other to talk without interruption. She kept interrupting him. She's one lucky girl. It's like, this is creepy.
Hey guys.
Are we live?
We're live.
We're live, okay.
So I want to tell you a little story of how we met. It's a little interesting.
First of all, I just want to say I can't believe we're revisiting this again. Some of you said you wanted to hear this, but for some reason,
we had, I keep
keep
getting comments like, how did you guys meet? So we're finally going to just tell them. Okay, so here I was.
You'll hear the truth.
It's very bizarre for us to be doing this, but I'm comfortable enough with you know what's going on to watch this.
Truth on this side,
Which is my version.
which is over here.
So here I was in San Diego. I was just starting out as a chiropractor, and so I didn't really know what I was doing. So I went to the swap meet. Okay, swap meet is like a place where they sell different, junk food and things, junk material and other stuff too, some cool stuff. And so here I am. I'm at the swap meet. I have this little booth, and I'm checking people, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm in my car, my Nissan Sentra, eating a banana at the time, and then I see this girl come by, and it was Karen with her boyfriend.
Thank you.
So I checked
my
her.
ex-boyfriend, actually.
Oh, okay, you're with your ex-boyfriend.
I actually went to the swap meet to find a chiropractor because I had some back trouble, and my roommate said that sometimes there were chiropractors doing screenings at the swap meet.
Yeah, I was
The
like
flea
the
market.
screening king. So anyway, checked her. I think she was the only person who came in at the time. That was the beginning of my practice. I had no patients. She was like one of my first patients, okay?
Okay. You see where this is going, right? You read ahead a little bit. A lot of people are already kind of sensing her like kind of personality. Looking for a chiropractor at the swap meet, as you do. So she's there with her ex. They're obviously still like together or whatever, socially. These people are married now. Okay, he has barely had any clients before.
She comes in.
And yes, it is against the law to hit on and date your patients, but
This was the 90s. This was over the 90s.
Words stolen from my lips. The horse's mouth. The horse's. So you see how she just breezed by. She just got right ahead of that, right there. That's kind of the biggest problem I have with this story. But she gets there. She gets there before I even had a chance.
That's why.
In all fairness, my insurance had been used up, and we were no longer. I don't know how to make this right, but
As it's
I don't know
not.
where you're going with that.
it was legal.
But anyway, so I didn't have any patients today, so I pretty much gave her a consultation that lasted all day. It was an all day. It must have been hours of, let me do some x-rays here, x-rays there. So anyway, things.
You put me in a hospital gown. I never knew a chiropractor to do that.
Well, that's what you do when you take x-rays.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, she started.
It's been a long time since I've watched this. He's first of all, they've already passed the whole legal thing, but he's also admitting now to fluffing her insurance. So he's like, integrated medicine clinics will do this thing where they'll give you a fuckload of stuff just so that they can say that they can charge you and give you a larger bill essentially. But oh my God, let's just you don't have to be in a hospital gown to take X-ray. He was an X-ray tech in the Army. He didn't see any action, but he was an X-ray tech in the Army. He should know that. So he was trying to get her clothes off, spend all day with her. Very predatory behavior here, bud. I'm not going to... This is not a long video, but it's just giving. It's giving so much right now,
Started coming in. She started getting improvement, and I was interested in her. So I decided to ask her out. And the first opportunity that happened was she comes in, she tells me that she broke up with her boyfriend. So in my mind, I'm like, she's probably hinting that she's single now and asking me out. That's what's going on in my mind. Any
No.
guy would say,
Broken man brain. Predatory, underdeveloped, juvenile man brain here. And this is probably relatable. This is probably like, oh, when I was 13 or 16, I would have thought the same thing. This was a grown man.
say that, right?
No.
But so basically,
And he's being like facetious, like it's so funny that he was this dumb, but he still did it and he's admitting to it. This is gross. He should have lost his license that day.
I ask her out and she says, I get rejected, okay? I get rejected.
Okay.
She says no.
I said, would you like to go to lunch? And then she says, well, no, you'll probably bill me.
Okay, so
So that's the first rejection. How many rejections do you think are going to happen?
this is the truth. How it really went down is that when I say just broke up, I mean like in the parking lot, there was, an emotional moment, and I came in for my doctor's appointment and I was still a little leaky, okay? And he was in the middle of providing a treatment on my spine, noticing I was a little leaky, and said, what's going on? And I said that I had just had this breakup, and obviously all my attention is still on this other person. And he says, well, if you need to talk about it, I am about to break, and I'd be happy to listen, or something
to break
like
the
that.
law.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm already paying out of my pocket for these visits. I don't want to download my garbage to my doctor. But in his mind, he's asking me on a date. So question number one to you guys, do you think that that's really asking me out on a date?
She's making it so much worse. And they're having this like cute little moment. He is saying, I broke the law. And she's like, he broke the laws of social decency on top of the laws of the state of California or wherever they were at the time.
I could listen more to your problems. So you have to
Yeah.
give some feedback on that.
Go ahead and give us feedback if you think
that's
I was
the
really asking
first-
out, or the interpretation that it wasn't really an ask out or ask.
It was an interpretation.
So I have another
This is the
question. You
truth.
just brought something up that's interesting.
Okay.
So I thought at the screening you were already broken up. So now you're saying
we did a little
you're-
back and forth, back and forth.
Okay. So I
this
didn't know
happens.
that. Right.
So we weren't dating.
And you were dating.
And then,
Okay.
he knocked on the door again, and then that didn't work out.
I think this
So
is
it
going to
was
really depend on if there's guys watching or girls, because if someone comes in and they're saying, "Oh, I
No,
broke up,"
guys, come on, guys. If you,
well, let's see what they're saying.
okay, I don't know how to. Not a date. Someone says in his mind.
In my delusional mind.
Ray is like, we don't communicate well. Actually, we're
He's
awesome
on his channel, by the way.
at communicating. We're talking about a really funny time. So, Joe, I got your back. Oh, Doc from James. That was not a date.
Although, to Karen's credit, now you know where my nice hair comes from. Just saying.
Okay,
Okay, so
not a date. Heck yes.
see, it's kind of a mixed bag, isn't it?
It's a mixed bag.
All right, so here's what happened next. So rejection number one, okay, but I was persistent.
Mm-hmm.
So now number two, rejection number two, right?
This
so
is my favorite.
so I'm actually doing what's called a genie rub, which is a massage tool on her back, okay?
Huge
And then what happens is that I ask her out on a date where I said, would you like to do some yoga? I thought I was doing yoga at the time. I thought it was a great place to meet on a date. Let's do yoga, right? And rejection number two, she declined.
Okay, so this is what really happened. It is true. I came in again for my visit.
Sexual
I'm
harassment,
on my
by the way.
stomach, and he's doing this big genie rub massage tool on my back. Hair getting caught in the motor.
I fixed that. I undid the knot.
And he says to me, he's my chiropractor, right? He says to me, have you ever considered yoga? And I haven't ever considered yoga, I said, no.
So that was a rejection right there.
Okay.
I had to
the
go out this kind
survey
of
says.
indirect.
The survey says.
What do you guys think? Was that actually me asking her out or not?
Oh no, this is the last one.
And it gets like the way they tell it in private is like a lot more like I don't know how far he goes with the story, but like he goes in to for he like preys on this woman. But like it's all like haha happy go lucky for the cameras. Uh in private he'll tell this story like she wanted nothing to do with him at all. I mean, I'm sure you can see that here, but like watching this again is very bizarre. Oh, I'm frozen again. Hold on, I'll fix that.
Mars and Venus, someone says. That was not asking her out.
That was, but
Oh wait, that
a
was
girl.
the first one. That was the first one. Hi, Manuel. He's watching. Gosh, what is anyone? Oh, not. Man, I gotta go to medical school. Not. Poor attempt, Doc. That was not asking her
I didn't
out.
want to come out right directly. So it was sort of.
Are you an Aquarius? I am an Aquarius. Or I was
Karen.
Aquarius until they changed the moons and the planet things, and now I'm
Let's
focus. Okay.
focus.
Okay. Sorry, Dr. Berg. I have to side with Karen. No.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, I got that. Let me go to strike 3, okay? I got 2 rejections. So I decided that I was going to give her one more opportunity to go out with me. So I was going to ask her. I was going to ask her out. So, because 3 strikes, you know, she's going to be out. The relationship is going to be done. So, the third time, check this out.
It hasn't even begun.
The third time, I get on the phone, and I call her, and I ask her out on a date to go to a blues band. This is in San Diego, Pacific Beach, I think it was. It's a great blues band right down the street. Would you like to go to a blues band? And if you don't say that's asking her out, I don't know what is, but I got totally rejected. She says, I'm not interested. So that was it.
Okay, so there is truth. This is the first time there's actually truth in what he says, right? Because he did call me, and he did ask me to a blues band. I am going to give you the other data that he knows very well occurred.
The omission?
The omission, which was, he called me at home at about 11 o'clock at night.
It was 10:30.
It was close
What
to
time
11.
do you go to a blues band? Do you go at 9 o'clock? You go later.
This is the first time he called me. It was almost 11 o'clock at night. In the middle of the week. I was in my pajamas already, and actually I was working on paperwork. I had to be at work 5:30 in the morning the next morning.
Do you know how many hours it took me to get up the nerve to call you? I was waiting all day.
I know. And
I'm watching the same video.
I appreciate that.
I get that.
Yeah.
But it was 11 o'clock at night. I was in my pajamas, so it would take me a good 20 minutes to get ready. He lived a good 20 minutes away. Pacific Beach was like 20 minutes away. So we're talking about almost an hour till I get there, and then the band, and then get home and get to bed. So this was primarily the reason I was going to have to pack.
You gonna see a narcissist? They're both narcissists. She I think is a little bit more terminal narcissist. He is more cluelessly ambitious narcissism. You know, she's more solid in her narcissism, and he's more, well, I think I'm smart, so I deserve it. You know, kind of like he gets his narcissism from the validation. You know, she gets her narcissism from her internal monologue.
Pass on this, but
11 p.m. I would be saying goodnight. Like, who does it? Like, first of all, after all those like rejections, he's still like, that's not a no to me. I'll wear her down. Grant Cardone actually has a very similar story where I think he like fucking berated this woman, his now wife, for like months and texted her constantly, just wore her down. I think a similar thing happened here, but she just didn't like, she was like confused, I guess, and she didn't want to, you know, be a dick. And I guess she had dated like drug dealers at a drug dealer at one point. She's had a very ambiguous dating history. So I think like this like relatively non-threatening guy who's just being a dude by, you know, harassment, because like, you know, harassment has kind of had bizarre overtones over the years. This is sort of see how they're laughing about it. Oh, that was back in the 90s when like you could be a little bit more misogynistic and it wasn't like the end of the world. So I think she's just kind of like settling, but she definitely wore him down.
What sealed the deal on the no is that his roommates at the time, now he lived in an apartment on the beach with some other guys. As he's asking me out, in the background, I hear, "Go for it, Eric!"
I couldn't help it. They're super dudes, and that's how they communicate.
So anyway, I will say that contributed to my certainty on the no, but most of it was the fact that you did ask me out. So you can get
Asked out is
yeses. What are they saying? Too late, Doc. See, right? 11 o'clock in the middle of the week. That's kind of
Dr.
late
Berg,
notice.
you don't call someone at the last minute for a first date. Definitely not.
Right?
Okay.
These guys
All right,
get
okay.
me. These
All right,
guys
so
get
the
me.
timing wasn't the best, okay?
So you want to know how to ask someone out on a date? In the middle of the day, I
It was a
call
little
him.
touchy because, asking your patient, it's kind of like, so I had to do it a little indirectly.
Illegal,
So if you like freaked out, I would say,
by the way.
what? I didn't ask you
I gotta
out. I
save
was just
this
wondering
video
if you like to
before
do
you
Oh
yoga.
my gosh, the
No.
truth comes out.
Yeah, just kidding.
It's
So,
a CYA.
so basically we got 3 strikes.
0
That's
strikes.
it. And now I'm
One-
like, it's kind of like in high school. You like someone, the more you like them, the more they don't like you. And then the minute
I
that you
liked him.
decide that you don't like them, now they're interested.
No, I always liked him.
But after our relationship, 3 strikes, I'm pretty much deciding it's over, okay? And during this period of time, I was trying to build the rapport because I used to do little mini seminars in my office and then I asked her to help out, which didn't really have it. I used to pass out champagne and cookies.
All right, guys. Grab the video. So even if he takes it down after this, I'll re-upload it.
Because I had a fear of public speaking. So I figured if they drank champagne, they would feel more relaxed and they'd laugh at my jokes.
Can't believe we're talking about all of this.
So anyway, we're at the point of 3 strikes. She's out. I'm done with the relationship. And then it was Christmas time, and she was going home. But she gave me a Christmas present. She made these unbelievable chocolates,
And
which
cookies.
I'm looking at this going, oh my gosh, she made these for me
I made them
exclusively?
for everybody.
See, I didn't know that. I thought, oh my gosh, she does like me, right?
I
So
did
she
like
gives me
you.
these chocolates, and then she walks out and she gives me the look, the back look. And she's
back
coming
look.
around, she's walking out, and then she looks back. Boom, I knew right there, there's something there. I think she does like me.
I did like you. Our producers.
So I'm
Thumbs
like,
up.
okay, so
That's the same producer he has today, by the way. That guy's he's gross. That guy. The guy you hear the radio voice on his lives, that guy's a gross dude. I never got good vibes off of him.
so I go back to Wisconsin.
Now that would have been the time to ask me out.
Well, you already had your 3 chances. So that
Wow. I
So,
didn't know
but
you-
so I'm gonna like go. And if she's interested, she can ask me. If she's
You
not interested,
never thought
so
that.
I'm like,
Anyway, I did. I called him up, asked him to my business holiday party. He came and
So
was the end of
basically, well, was there any type of lag time of me responding?
no, as a matter of fact, I was saying, oh, Dr. Berg, it's Karen, I know you're relatively new in town. I'm new in town, and my company's having this, and I just thought, you're a chiropractor. These guys are physical therapists, occupational therapists, because that was my profession, occupational therapy. Maybe, there'd be some interest and reality, and,
I'm like, okay.
he's like, okay. I'm like, well, no, let me tell you what it is. He's like, no, okay, I'll go. I'm like,
Yeah. So one last little part of this. The night that we were supposed to go, I was doing another screening. Right.
we're not going to tell this
Yeah.
whole thing.
No, just this last little part.
Okay.
Here I am doing this little screening, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's late. I gotta run. So I get in my car, I get to my apartment, and guess what? I locked my keys in the apartment. I forgot the keys. It is dead bolted. Okay?
Whoops.
So there is a
No show to the first
there's
date.
There's a pine tree, okay, next to my 2nd story apartment it was slightly open. I
The window.
scaled, yeah, the window. I scaled that pine tree. Karen, for you. I scaled it all the way up, got in there, got my keys, and of course, you know, arrived at the door.
This explains why when he
On
came,
time.
he was on time and looking amazing. But it did explain why your sleeves were rolled up and you had big globs of sap in your arm
I couldn't
hair.
get it off. You weren't supposed to see that.
Okay.
So anyway,
Anyway, you
that's
know what?
the story. The rest is
you
history.
could call it.
Okay. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Roxy says she likes his money now. She enjoys his money. They were actually gonna get divorced at a certain point. They really did not like each other because my dad cared more about his job than he did about his family, and my mom cared more about Scientology than she cared about her family. So there was this kind of like back and forth until she wore him down. She started surrounding him with I think she described it as more successful Scientologists than him. So I think eventually they just kind of decided that it was comfortable and it was easy. And then once he started making more money, well, then she had a bunch of money, you know, because she doesn't do anything for work. She doesn't like. She says that she promotes. She like runs a publishing company. She doesn't. They opened their own like small scale publishing company which outsources the publishing. So she doesn't have like a factory or anything. She did that to save money on publishing his book. But yeah, what they didn't talk about is how he literally begged her to marry him and asked her several times. And they talk about that a lot. Maybe when they if in the off you know, weird chance that they ever did leave, I don't even think they'd make a video about that. This is hard enough to watch. Very creepy, you know, very kind of predatory, illegal. You know, just in between like the nuances of where they're like, oh, but they were just stumbling and in love. It's like, no, they are. This is creepy. This is bad.